Hey there, this is Ill Factor from beatacademy.com. In this video, I want to spend a little time talking about mastering, specifically automated mastering. And I want to share with you some tips on how you can get the best results when you're using an automated mastering service. Now, if you haven't noticed, there are several websites that offer an online audio mastering engine that really allows you to simply just drag and drop a file, such as this one here, which is eMastered. You literally drag and drop a file into the website, and the back-end built-in algorithms will calculate exactly how to master that final mix. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use a mix that I've completed, run it through eMastered, the online mastering engine that we're looking at here, and we're going to compare it to both my mastered version, my attempt of mastering using some of, I've used Ozone and a couple other plugins, and then just compare the two. And then how to walk through and prepare your final mixes for the best results when using any online mastering services, whether it's Lander or eMastered. So let's go ahead and see the results. So the purple track on top is my final mix, meaning that I've mixed my session without any mastering plugins at the master fader, maybe just a little bit of compression, some EQing, but that was just, I start that way in my mixes from the top down so I can get an overall vibe and a goal in mind sonically. And then in the middle here we have my mastered version, which is a separate session that I imported the final mix and mastered it myself. And on the bottom here in the pink we see the eMastered version. So even just by looking at it, the difference, you could see some of the difference here. We know that from the final mix to my mastered, we have some difference in amplitude. You know, you can see that the waveform's a little bit louder, so there's definitely a volume difference. But we could see a little bit more of that volume change here as well. There's less of the dynamics going on in the eMastered version here. So it'll be curious to see what that's going to sound like in comparison to my master. So first thing to take note is let's just go focus on the final mix first. And one thing I want to focus your attention on is when I play the final mix, I want you to see where the levels are at. So this is pretty much where I aim to get my mixes at so that I have a better, just a better setup for mastering. So let me go ahead and play you the final mix.
Might be the next one that gets used. You broke my heart again, and if I lose, I'll have to start again. So now I choose.
So you notice that my average, the average volume is just right around -12 dB, and you'll see some of the peak go a little bit at -6 or maybe just a little bit above that. But the average volume is right around here, -12 dB. So that's usually kind of like my go-to place for my final mix. That way I have enough headroom when I master it either myself or send it out to somebody else to master, or even using online automated mastering when I'm either on the go or just to see get another mastered version of this. So let's go ahead and compare now the final mix to my mastered version.
Might be the next one that gets used. You broke my heart again, and if I lose, I'll have to start again. So now I choose to leave before it ends. No, you hit me right in the chest. You know you bruised me again.
So my mastered version, I've mastered it to a place where I like that. It's got a little bit more stereo depth, obviously a little bit louder in volume, and I'm not really not doing a lot to the overall dynamics. I just wanted to bring it up a little bit and just have it a little bit wider, and that was my thought process in my mastering. So let's go ahead and play my mastered version now with the eMastered version, and let's see what differences we hear.
Might be the next one that gets used. You broke my heart again, and if I lose, I'll have to start again. So now I choose to leave before it ends. No, you hit me right in the chest. You know you bruised me again. For the last time.
It's funny that when I start A-Bing from my master to the eMastered version, it sounds almost like the vocals popped out a little bit more. And I think that that's happening because the eMastered is actually bringing up a little bit more of the high end, and we're hearing a little bit more of that air, and the vocals seems to stand out a little bit more. My mastered seemed a little bit warmer, and let's just do that one more time. Just kind of have it sink in. Now, the best way I like to do this, and the best way I like to think about how to notice a lot of this, any subtleties when it comes to comparing mastering or even mixes for that matter, is I focus on one element. So if it's a hi-hat or if it's the vocal, well, that's where I keep my mind focused in. I just keep my ears attentive to vocals, and I see the difference between the two. So I want to encourage you to do the same. So just fix your attention on the vocals. So we'll start with my mastered, and then I'll A/B between eMastered and mine.
Might be the next one that gets used. You broke my heart again, and if I lose, I'll have to start again. So now I choose to leave before it ends. No, you hit me right in the chest. You know you bruised me again.
Now, sometimes loudness can just be the illusion that tricks us. It can kind of lie to us. It's like, wow, eMastered sounds a lot better because it's a little bit louder, and therefore, since it's louder, it therefore is better, and that's necessarily not always the case. So you have to just kind of keep in mind what it is that you're losing or what is it that you're gaining when. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I actually like the eMastered version, and because it is bringing some of that Christmas, but that the crispiness back, not Christmas. That'd be nice. But essentially what it's doing, it's adding a lot more of that, and it's doing some kind of compression where the low end gets brought up a little bit. So I do like that. So what I can do now is go back to my mastering process, because what I do like about my version is the warmth and a little bit more of the stereo depth that I have in mind. It thinks a little bit wider, but I do like it warm. That's what me personally, what I like about my version. I wanted it to be a little bit warmer, and what I mean warm is not so high and heavy, but I could use a little brightness from the vocal. So now I could go either to my mix and do that tweaking, which is what I would recommend if you have that ability to go into the project and do those little nuances and those tweaks from there, because that is at the end of the day going to be the best way to get those results, so that when you do a little bit of that tweaking in the mix, then you really, the mastering will just exemplify that. And what I mean by that is, just think of the whole mixing process as washing the car. That's where the majority of the dirt gets taken out. And mastering should really be when you wax the car. You don't start with wax in the car, or you just like, well, you know, I'll spit at the car and hopefully, you know, all the dirt will come off when I wax it. No. You put all the elbow grease in the washing, right? You're rinsing with water, you're getting all that dirt out, and that's what the washing of the car is. And then once you've got all that work done, you don't necessarily have to wax the car, but waxing it will give it that nice polish and shine. And that's how I view mastering. The bulk of the work gets done in the mix. If you've just got an imbalance and not a great mix, mastering won't be the silver bullet. It's only going to highlight what you've got placed in the mix. So this is a great tool to use even as a reference, as a goal to reach in the mixing process. So going back and focusing on eMastered primarily. So once you drag and drop your file into the website, it'll run it through the mastering engine, the backend, and all the algorithms and whatever the unicorns and wizards are doing. And once it finishes doing that, it allows you to preview, and you have the option to go back and forth between the original source and the new mastered version within the web player as well. What I've liked is that they've also included a new mastering option here that allows you to even custom tailor the end result. So you can create a preset once you've set all the parameters that you like. Now with the mastering strength, do I want less of the mastering processes to go through? Maybe it was a little too harsh, or maybe I'm getting a little bit of distortion going on. So you can control all that here. EQ, I want less of that top end. If I wanted it a lot warmer, but yet still keep the dynamics that it created, well, then I can do that. I can just reduce some of that high-end stereo width. If I wanted some more stereo width, then I can go ahead and do that here as well. And here's the overall volume. How much louder do I want? So I want it a lot louder. So too bad they don't have a lot louder option here. Or, but you can go ahead and dial some of these in, go back, let it master it again, and preview the results. and just get it to where it really feels right for you. And I mean that, where it feels right and it feels like, okay, this is where I wanted this song to end up at. And I think it's a great tool, especially for those who are getting new into the whole mastering process. This takes a lot of the mystery out, because now you can not just rely on this completely, but what you can do is use this as a great place to, as a great benchmark to start with. Now, a couple of things to consider when using any type of automated mastering service. You want to export the highest quality possible. That way, the algorithms have the best format to work with. So you want to export at least at 24-bit and 48 kilohertz if possible. And so that's what I recommend. Don't want to drag and drop any type of MP3s or anything lower than that standard, because then your results won't be that as great. Then you also want to make sure you have enough headroom, like we mentioned earlier. Make sure that the average volume that you're working with in your final mix is somewhere around -12 or below that, so that there's enough room for all the processing to do its magic. Then you also want to make sure that you're not placing a lot of limiting or dynamic controlling effects on your master fader. If you got a lot of compression or a lot of limiting going on, you might want to bypass that. And what you could do is just bypass it, export it and implement it into eMastered, see what it sounds like, and compare your processing with what it's doing. And it can give you a better understanding of how to control your master bus plugins so that you can get the sound that you're looking for, more or less. So those are a couple things to consider when using any type of automated service like this. So thank you for watching this video, and as my gift to you for watching, I'd love to send you a sample pack that I've put together from some of my sessions from the past year. These include construction kits, loops that you can use in any DAW, just simply drag and drop them. It also includes one-shots, kicks, snares, percussion, transition effects, and they're 100% royalty free. So you can use them right now, today, and share that music that you're going to create with it with the rest of the world. So just simply click the link below in the description box, or you can visit www.beatacademy.com/pack and download your sample pack free today. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.